Video recording? Sweet. It's working. Okay, great. I've resumed audio. All right, it's time, everybody. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of Play Retro.
Evil will walk once more.
There's no commercials with talking in them. Sorry.
But
Sorry.
evil will walk once more.
Hey, y'all. Welcome to Play Retro. I am Scott Johnson, one of your hosts. And look, I love point-and-click adventures as much as the next guy, okay? But I have to say, you should at least try and have some competent acting in your full-motion video game bullshit. All right? Is this porn or a Cthulhu nightmare hellscape? Can it be both? Anyway, remember to click and point when you point and click, and leave the acting to the professionals.
Oh, good point. And I'm your other ghost. Spooky season.
I like
that's
it.
right.
Yeah, nice
Brian
job.
Dunaway.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. And while I was in town picking up drain cleaner for the most annoying man to ever man in video games, yeah, even before he got possessed by a cloud of baby farts while hanging a light in his dark room shitter, I figured I better pick up a rape whistle because I'm getting a real 90s era B-movie FMV horror vibe from our new Oceanside haunted mansion filled with mirrors and primping and walls I can't wait to tear down, Scott. I gotta tear down those walls. Oh, so slowly. Can I skip this scene? No, I cannot. All right, fine. I guess I'll keep tearing down the scene then.
Yeah. By the way, ask yourself that question a lot while you're playing Phantasmagoria 1 or 2. The answer is no, you can't skip shit. The games are very bad at letting you skip things.
You can't skip. Maybe I could skip in my DOS box. I don't even know. It was such a nightmare to get this thing. The biggest nightmare this week was getting this thing to work. That was the biggest nightmare for me.
That's the
and
trick.
I think the one I eventually used allowed me to skip a lot of stuff.
Okay,
not
good.
everything, but
Yeah, you're right. But if you can, in today's emulation world, you can figure out ways to get around this stuff. But those games in their original form were not very friendly to, especially if you're playing a second time. It's like, dude, I've seen this scene.
It's 1995, right? So, I mean, yeah, you get what you get.
You get what you get. We hadn't learned yet, okay?
No.
Once in a while, I get a new game that won't let you skip cutscenes or something. And I'm like,
that's a bunch of bullshit.
Are you stuck in 1993? What are you doing here?
Yeah,
what do you got
doing?
going?
Always let me skip.
We're going to talk about Phantasmagoria and Phantasmagoria, colon, a puzzle of flesh. All right? Get excited.
A puzzling flesh.
That's right.
Yes.
We're going retro in a very Halloween way today, so we're going to do that here in a minute. But before we do, let's talk about some stuff. I had a very busy week. There's a lot of stuff going on. I got a bunch of family around. Very hard for me to play anything, really. However, I had 2 dreams about Karateka, of all things.
Oh.
And I don't know why I had a dream about that old-ass game, and I don't know what it means. Maybe someone at home will have an idea. But I think sooner than later, we need to get that game on here.
Oh, yeah. Karateka is one of my favorites of all times. Also, he did Prince of Persia, right?
Yeah,
and
same guy.
The animation stuff is amazing. And I love, we just said, I hate that you can't skip scenes and some stuff. But in Karateka, it's kind of the same way because it's that forward momentum. You start walking left to right and you're going, and you get to a point and like you want to kick the bad guy, but then he has to go over here and do like this little bounce back move, and then he finally gets, and then he goes, whoa.
Yep. It's a weird game, but it's so influential for the future of fighters and side scrollers and so many things. So many games took a cue from it.
It seems so real at the time when everything else felt like Pitfall.
Yeah.
It felt the fact that he made the animation move in the way that it did.
Yeah.
Even though the characters were still, it's pixels, it felt alive.
Ahead of its time. Yeah.
Totally ahead of its time.
Yeah. Big credit where you deserve it, man. We'll give you the love here.
Put it on the map. Maybe after spooky season, we'll have to
we'll get that in there.
It up.
I don't even know what we're doing next week. Do we know yet? We don't know yet.
Oh shoot! I didn't put that in the show notes. I will try to put it in.
We should do that.
I didn't. I totally didn't even think about that. I was thinking about it earlier today, and then I never made my mind up. And
we'll try to stay Halloweenish. All right, everybody.
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to be horror time. I kind of want to talk about, and I keep pushing it, but maybe just need to bite the bullet. I was going to talk about all those hard shooter games at the arcade, but I don't know how I'll get a chance to actually experience them between now and the next episode.
You mean
But
like
maybe we don't need to. Maybe we don't need to.
House
Maybe
of
we
the
just need to.
Dead and that kind of stuff? Is that what you're talking about?
Oh
Like,
yeah, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Yeah, those light gun games, there are a bunch of horror ones, is my memory.
Oh, there's so freaking many of them at the arcade.
Yeah, and
it may just be
even ones
enough
like
just
Area
to-
51 and things like that are have horror elements, mutants and zombies and all that shit. So yeah, I'm down for that. I love those games. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
I've spent more money in that Terminator one. You remember that Terminator arcade machine?
Oh yes, I
pumped that thing full of freaking cash. They owe me money. These bastards.
Pump it, body.
Also, I have great news for RoboCop enthusiasts. Now, RoboCop is not a stranger to cool video games. There were great RoboCop games back in the day, especially in the 16-bit era and arcades. And I've often wondered, why have we not had proper follow-ups? And I think part of it is maybe people waned on their interest in something like RoboCop for a really long time. But I think now there are people that are like, man, I want that Verhoeven vibe, that old school RoboCop business in my life again. And here's the good news. November, I don't know the date, 3rd or 4th or something like that. A brand new RoboCop game's coming out. It's called RoboCop Rogue City, I think.
Oh my God, is that not the best name?
It's pretty good.
Ever.
Although it's not a roguelike, I should point that out. Just for anyone who thinks the rogue in the name means something different than it does. But the game is I played the demo. You can get the demo. Brian, you love the demo. You love demos.
Why don't I have the demo
You should go get the demo. It's beautiful. It looks like it was shot on set. It has, what's his name back doing the voice? Peter Weller.
Peter Weller?
Yep. I think the lady who's his partner is also there. I forgot her name, but she's the partner from the first movie. I don't know about anybody else in the cast, but it is this really awesome first-person shooter where you are clomping through places, ripping shit apart, destructible environments, grabbing a dude, throwing him at another dude, and they explode in a big bloody cloud. It's great. It's so good, dude. And I'm getting it. That went from like 0 anticipation to like 99 on my list for this year. After that demo.
I'm down with this. What are we waiting on? Why are we still talking about this? Are we still doing a show? We should be just
the
sitting
game's
around
not out yet, so
twiddling the thumbs, waiting for it to happen.
When it comes out on the 4th or whatever of November, all bets are off. I don't know how busy I'll be with that game, but we'll see. It looks like they really are capturing what I loved about those movies, or that first movie in particular. The rest of them are kind of bad, but whatever.
Hey!
I'm not here to judge. I like the
RoboCop 2 is no slouch.
No, it's a slouch. It's bad.
Hey,
that's the one with that nuke thing. Their stupid synthetic drug nuke. Remember that?
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
Everything. All
Next, going to be telling me you don't like Halloween 3 because it's not full of Michael Myers.
Actually, I don't like Halloween 3 for that reason. It's not full of Michael Myers. What is the point? How do you? That's Jason. You're thinking of something else. What are you thinking of?
Well, no, I'm just. Well, I didn't want to. I can't say kill Scott in that speak.
Well,
that wouldn't work. But I can do the Friday the 13th Jason.
But the Michael Myers voice.
Myers
not voice.
No,
he
doesn't have
song?
voice.
What's the song they do?
Oh, how do I say? I can't sing it. Ding ding. It's like a little dingy ting ting ting. It goes a baby shark. Do 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 do.
Yeah, it's the Baby Shark song.
That's not it.
Little known use case for the original Baby Shark song was all of the Halloween movies. Anyway, that's what I got up to, and I don't know why I dreamed of Karateka, but we're going to have to cover it sometime. Brian, tell me about what you've been up to. What'd you do this week? What's going on?
All right, so you'll see behind me, I've got Turok on the N64, which I picked up recently, and I've been messing around with that and getting everything working well for my N64. But more importantly, while I was trying to figure out how in the world is going to play Phantasmagoria 1 and 2 this week,
right?
I realized when I went to redeem Phantasmagoria 2 on my Steam account that I already had activated.
Oh, so you already own it.
I have an extra, I already own it. So I have an extra game code, which we could give away in the chat room today if you wanted to, in some form or fashion. But
that's great.
I'm telling you.
Let's do it.
Two is, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about two. Like, why don't you give away one? Because I only have one copy of that. But
Yeah, two is a
Yeah, 2 is we're going to talk about it. It's a puzzle of flesh and a puzzle of more.
Yeah, there's
So,
a lot of flesh and not exactly the kind of flesh you're
yeah.
thinking of in that thing.
Oh, no, it's not. But there's no side boob, which I'm
No,
disappointed in.
no. But there is some
yeah.
nasty phone talking. I got some audio from that. We'll talk about it.
Oh God.
I had to. So I have a confession to make before we get into our main discussion here. Phantasmagoria 1 and 2. I didn't have a great way to play it, and I'm not up to speed on all the DOSBox stuff, so I didn't do it. So instead, I watched a ton of video from both games, playthroughs and various points of the game. And
I'm going to go ahead and say it now. You don't have to play this game, people.
No.
If you're out there and you like to play along, that's great.
Right.
If you want to play Phantasmagoria and Part 2, you totally can do it. You got it on Good Old Games in Steam, $9.99 for the first one, $5 for the second one. I didn't have a lot of luck with the Steam version. Got a refund on that one. But the movies are all captured already completely. You got the whole story on YouTube you can watch. You don't have to buy this game because the only experience you're going to have is point and click.
It's just the story anyway. Exactly. This is a perfect game to watch instead of play, I think.
Yeah, this game is all about. It's not a challenging puzzle game. Neither one of them are. You're not going to find much challenge here. You're pretty much just finding a way to click on the next thing so that you can continue the story and laugh your ass off.
Yeah,
right.
That's the job of it now.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that. I got a feeling while I was watching it, because I didn't play this back in the day when it was new. And I got a feeling while I was playing or while I was watching it that I would have been really annoyed by it back then. And I'm not sure why. So we'll get into all that because I don't know what that even means. Let's get into it.
Shall we play a game?
Yeah, or in this case, watch it. We're talking about Phantasmagoria 1, for lack of a better way of calling it, just Phantasmagoria. And then its follow-up, Phantasmagoria, A Puzzle of Flesh, which is rather different from what I watched.
It is much different.
Yeah, they really went a different direction on this thing. But they are essentially point-and-click adventure games that feature live-action actors and cinematic footage. So these are your full motion, your FMVs of the 90s. This is both during scenes between the gameplay and within the three-dimensional rendered environments of the game itself. Oftentimes, it's like a space where there's a bed and a door and a thing and some furniture, and it's all pre-rendered and looks like shit. But then ladies walking through it because she's captured on video on a bad green screen. You kind of see the edges and the jaggies on her and stuff.
Oh, he used blue screen at this point. That's how 90s this was.
Yeah.
We hadn't even moved on to green screen, which has pretty much become the de facto. People still use blue screen some, but
I was going to say, isn't it kind of? I guess it depends on the project or whatever. Because all you're trying to do is
the project. But blue screen was the more popular version for a very long time, especially during the 80s and 90s, and then green screen became a little more popular. So yeah, this is all blue screen stuff. Yeah, blue-green stuff.
Blue-green scuff.
There, I said
it. That's the one. If the people in the video here, people at home, if they look like low-rent porn actors, that's because they kind of look like they are. They look like they're getting day rates.
They absolutely are. Because Sierra Online, they were going to spend like $800,000 on this project, and they ended up spending about $4 million, and part of that went towards the studio they built, which was about $1 million, because they had some big dreams in 1995. Unfortunately, it wasn't going to be long before Sierra took a big old poop.
Yeah.
But anyway. Yeah,
here
you are. You got your actors. We were seeing Mortal Kombat about this time, very popular. Gore, violence was very popular. So Sierra knew they had to shift a little bit and make more adult content, and that was their answer. Let's go into some motion video.
Yeah, and this thing, by the way, to compare it to something, I'm trying to think like Night Trap had a giant impact.
Yeah, 92 Night Trap, I believe. So.
Yeah, and so I think they looked at that and went, we could do A, better, and B, it could be, this is a PC audience, mature audience, I think they saw that, all that stuff and when they went forward with it. And for those who are saying, wait, Sierra lasted longer than that, they went out of business in 2002 or 2001.
Yeah. Like I said, they were they were spending a lot of money right now, and they made some of it back on this. But yeah, it wouldn't be long before things would take a
Oh,
turn.
there
We
it
talked
is.
about Roberta Williams, by the way. This is the developer of this game.
Oh yeah, we talked about her a
King's
bunch when
Quest.
we did King's Quest. Yeah, it's been a bit.
Yeah,
But, yep.
and so she had a story in her, and she wanted to tell it, and it was this story.
And it
that
was a
we're-
little porny, just slightly porny.
It was, I was trying to figure that out. I was like, it's kind of like a romance novel kind of horror, if that
Mhm.
makes sense.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure if that's because of the way everything is filmed is very soap opera like.
Yeah.
But it felt very stiff.
Yeah, none of the
The
sets
actors
are
felt
sets. All the things that are set dressing are fake in the world. So only the woman
Right.
in her video is real.
Right.
And in some ways, it's kind of impressive. In
Right.
other ways, it's laughable. We've come
Hey,
a
you know
long
what?
way, right?
For $4 million, if you think about making a film of this size, I think they shot something like 400 hours. Don't quote me on that, but it was a lot of hours. There was like a 200-page script, or maybe I'm getting those two flipped. Anyway, it was a lot of content, and they filmed a lot and acted a lot. Actress Victoria Morsel, I think that's how you say it, who plays Adrian. She's the writer, and her husband David Holm, who plays Don. They both have picked up this mansion, and they moved out to the middle of nowhere, I guess in Massachusetts somewhere. And they're both trying to remodel this cursed house,
Yeah.
as well as trying to pursue their current careers.
Yeah.
Did you know that these two fools started dating?
Yes, I did know that.
Yeah,
And here's the deal.
yeah. Even
it's-
after that rape scene. Okay.
Yeah, it's guys have so many. I'm very conflicted on a lot of the themes in the movie,
Right.
in the game,
Yeah, it's a movie. You could practically call it a movie. It pretty much is.
because so much of it is designed to shock.
Yes.
Partly because it's a video game and you immediately go, "What? This isn't a video game? No way." But it's also kind of tame compared to today's standards of what you could put in a video game. So I'm like torn on it, because on the one hand, I'm like, "Oh wow, they did this back then." And then I realized, well, yeah, but what do they do now? I play Cyberpunk. I spent 20 minutes inside a store that was full of dildos. Like, we're you know what I mean? Like, it's easy to get
I'm
lulled
with
into
you.
this that this never changed, but it's changed a lot since then. So much.
Yeah, a lot of it seems kind of tame, because there's a shot of the side boob, which is kind of shocking when you first see it. It's in the movie intro. It's not even in the main game. You can watch an intro beforehand.
Right.
Which, by the way, that may be some of the where they put a lot of the production quality in until they started making out, and then I was like, oh my god, Don, if you don't stop breathing and eating her like a cheeseburger,
Yeah.
like her face, he's like, oh yeah, I'm like, oh my god, back off the mic.
Eating her face like a cheeseburger. You're not
It's
wrong.
terrible.
You're not wrong. That
Terrible.
stuff is doesn't. There's no way somebody saw that then and went, "Ooh, how titillating." Ooh.
Right. Ooh, how titillating. But okay, so but the rape scene actually is, I don't think I've been impacted by a rape scene that much since Edith Bunker got raped in All in the Family. So I mean,
Do you think that's
Woo.
because it's presented in this game form, and games are supposed to be for fun, and these sort of themes aren't necessarily usually in a game? You know what I mean?
usually I think we've gotten better at filming rape scenes. This seemed like a rape scene in
That's
the
a
full
weird thing
daylight.
to say. I just want to
Right?
put it out there that I don't think what Brian is saying is, "Oh man, I'm so happy with the improvement in how we do rape scenes now."
Well,
He's-
because we leave stuff to the imagination, which can be both more scary and a little less unsettling. At least it's like, you don't have to feel as uncomfortable. This one is like full light.
yeah, you only have
rapiness,
to
and
you only
it's-
have to hint at it to piss me off now.
Right.
Like, if
And
I
that's what
see
we
a
usually do
show
when we
and there's some
represent rape scenes in films
douchebag,
and
some douchebags with
Yeah.
a girl somewhere, and I know what he's up to, it pisses
Right.
me off, and I don't have to see anything. It's just like it just makes
Yeah.
me mad.
yeah.
you know.
And there's so much to unpack during this scene. It's very, I like maybe it's because it's all surrounded by 3D stuff. I don't know, but whatever it is, that my expectations was one thing, and when I actually watched that scene, which is in chapter 4, there's 7 chapters in this game, 7 disc. Yeah, I was like, oh my god, that is really tough to watch. Even something as far back as 1995. Some people are going 95 was just yesterday. No, it wasn't. People.
No, that was a long time ago, guys. Real
was
quick,
that 30 years ago in 2 years? So 28 years.
20.
Yeah, so there you go.
20. What are we? 23. So it's
Yes, 28. Right? Is that right?
Wait, no.
Yeah, 28. That's right.
What year was it?
I know math.
What year was it? 95.
95.
Oh no, 28.
Yeah, the year was
right.
2023.
Yep, you're right.
You had the 5, and you got 28.
You're absolutely right. Listen to this sound from it. Here's some stuff. This is her waking up from a dream, a nightmare. And here's her boyfriend.
Here comes Don.
Listen to this.
Oh.
Hold on.
No, it's horrible.
Oh, Don!
Can't stand it.
I hate it.
I couldn't stand it.
I can't
It's just like,
stand
he was
it
like
either.
all on the microphone.
Oh, it's okay. It's just a nightmare.
It's okay.
You just had a nightmare. Let me eat your face like a burger.
Oh God, it was just so terrible. I couldn't get. I think it's one you can't skip. I was just like, oh God, please just let.
No,
this
you
end
can't
on.
skip that one because every time I saw, in fact, I watched one with commentary and the guy says, I hate that you can't skip
Right.
these. And so I
Yeah.
know that one you couldn't. The second game maybe had more skippable stuff. I don't know.
Well, I think you can skip everything except for the in between story points. Like when you're navigating around the house or in town or wherever, and when you're trying to click on stuff, that way we don't have to constantly watch her do the same things over and over again. That's one thing. Oh my God, we should talk about this game. Is the repeating of actions once you've initiated something, like any point and click, you're navigating, pointing and clicking, and you don't want your animations to be terribly long. And they didn't know how to edit at this point on an FMV, in my opinion, in 95. So they just left everything in. So if you told her to, try to open a door, it's like almost a full minute of her jiggling the handle.
Yeah.
It's like
And turning around and walking slowly over to the thing. Like this
and
was
then
experimental territory. They didn't know how to do it.
Yeah, it's terrible, but you can skip that, and it's actually pretty good because because when you initiate that action, your mouse cursor automatically pops to the skip button, and you just hit skip.
Yeah.
By the way, the menu. So this is 16 by 9 is widescreen format. The videos are, which allows you to have it's all going to be a 4:3 screen format overall.
Right. Yeah, because they cram it in there with the sandwich job of the UI. Like they do.
Right. So you get the UI down at the bottom. I love the hint keeper. I forget what he called himself, but he's the hint keeper.
The little head down there, right? The skull guy.
Yeah, he's a little skull head guy.
Yeah.
And if you're in an area and you can't quite figure it out, and you're like, what do I do? Do next? I don't know what I got to do next. You can click on him, and he'll talk, and he'll tell you, you need someone in town has the key you need, and so you head off to town, and that's really cool. I dug that. I also like the fact that you can just like in a lot of point and click. You can observe things. You can click the item in your pockets that you got like 8 slots or something, and you can drag that over or put it over onto the eye, the all-seeing eye, and it will tell you some information about it. Or you can flip it around, usually like rotate it around. There's actually things you can click on too, on the object once you're actually in that mode, and that's how you solve some of the puzzles. As a matter of fact, because you'll get something and you have to like trigger it before you can use it.
I appreciate creative hint systems.
Yes.
They're not easy to pull off. And so when they do it right, I actually think this is a good one.
Yes.
I enjoy that, especially in point and clicks where maybe it's a little obtuse or you don't understand where you're supposed to go next, or this is a confusing room or whatever. Give me some creative. Don't make it too simple for me, but give me a creative way to get hints, and I'm kind of all in on that.
After I played 2, I was longing for the simplicity of the first one, because it kind of leads you along the way while your character is trying to navigate this haunted house that was were 3 wives or something. He was a dark magician who owned this previously.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to him. I don't know if they say. I guess he probably got murdered.
He's probably dead.
He certainly murdered. I didn't get the whole story. I didn't complete it yet. But anyway,
I didn't either. I didn't finish my watch through. It's too much. The thing's huge.
It's too much.
Yeah,
it's like it's over 2 hours or something, I think.
Oh, here's the stupidest thing ever when this hand comes out of the sleeping bag. Hold on.
Oh, I like that. When there is no Dana, there's only Zool.
Yeah. That's exactly what it reminded me of. So look at
Yeah,
her. She's like,
I
oh,
like
I'm
that.
dreaming of a thing. And then she wakes
I
up.
liked it a lot.
Oh, no, it's the hands from below,
It's the hands from below. Get
which are
out.
clearly coming up through holes in the blanket.
Grabbing her mom pants. Oh my God. Can we talk about
Her pants are high. They're very high.
the costuming? There's no wardrobe changes in this, by the way, even though it spans over days. There's no wardrobe change. There's just her and her mom pants and her which she's got like this orange sweater thing on. She kind of reminds me of glasses wearing Scooby-Doo.
A little bit.
I always get Velma in the other one. Is it she's
Daphne you're thinking of.
Daphne? Is she Daphne? She's Daphne,
She's
right?
Daphne, yeah. Well,
All
I mean,
right.
that's
All
what.
right, anyway.
Velma's the one with the glasses that always loses her glasses. This Daphne's the
Right.
blonde. Yeah.
There you go. So anyway, Don, the photography guy.
Look at the guy, Don's stupid ponytail.
Ponytail-
I want to kill
ponytail.
Don. I don't know this guy. I've never seen him in anything else.
Worst.
I want to murder him. I just do.
He's such a freaking he's a photographer, and he's just such an asshole. He's just you kind of I don't think there was he's supposed to get possessed because she's exploring the house. You're exploring the house, and you come across a baby crib. You think I don't even think they even looked at the listing. I think they just bought this site unseen, I think is what they did. But there's a baby crib, and it's got a giant floaty gas thing over top of the crib, and so she goes in there and pokes it, and it flies off, and it possesses Don, who is, I guess, turned into Carno, the guy who had murdered his wife. So I guess he's been possessed by the spirit.
Sure. I feel like it's the story at its essence is a story we've heard a billion times.
But it's
interactive.
Borders
That's
on
the difference.
It keeps falling back and forth. It's a very good B movie. I don't know if it's not. I won't say it's a good B movie. It's a B movie.
It's a
maybe
B
even
movie.
A C movie.
Yeah. Maybe
So
B, yeah,
she's-
maybe C, maybe D,
Right.
maybe
C,
D.
maybe C, D, because we get into some humor relief too, because we've got a garden gnome who lives out in the barn for some reason with her son
Right.
Lenny from Mice and Men. I
Yeah.
don't know what the hell she's doing there other than a distraction.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely watch the movies on YouTube of this game.
And it'll let
You're
you
not gonna get a
skip.
whole lot
There
more
are
from
run
this
throughs of the game on the line. One of them I watched was they cut out all the gameplay. It was just
Yes.
story interaction, and that's a good way to get this thing. Otherwise, it's very methodical. Like Brian said, she'll stand there for too long. She'll take forever to cross the room. She'll look around the room like this for 10 minutes. Like it's a lot. It's a lot to deal with.
I couldn't figure out it at first. I was like, oh, that's really smart what they're doing with her character, because when you're playing some of these characters, like let's take a modern game like Detroit or something like that. Did you ever play that game?
Being
Where you
Human,
got-
Detroit Being Human.
Yeah, Being Human.
Mhm.
It's like almost all story with point and click stuff. There's
Mhm.
not a lot. There's a couple of quick time actions.
It's a modern example of what these were aiming to do back then. That's really what that game
Right.
is. Yeah.
Right. And so when you play something like that, you don't want your character to talk too much because you want to be the voice of the
Mhm.
character, right? So I was actually thought at first I was like, oh, so we're playing as Adrian Delaney, and we're supposed to be, controlling her, and she's supposed to represent us in the game. And so I thought it was smart at first, but after a while I was like, okay, I'm annoyed with her.
Yeah.
She's just getting on my nerves.
She annoyed me
She's-
pretty quick.
She's
Not as much
I
as
don't know.
Don. Don's the worst character ever.
Oh,
So,
Dawn is the worst. I fell in and out of love with Adrian's character many times. I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, I like what she's doing there. She's really doing her stuff until I was forced to steal. Thanks a lot, Roberta Williams, and
Yeah.
your weird storyline where it's like you have to go to town at one point in time to get the Drano or whatever it is to clean the drains because your husband Don is.
just a drain cleaner. Yeah. I don't think they had a
He's
brand,
feeling-
but yeah.
I don't. Anyway,
He did show,
anyway,
by
so
the way,
you're
when
in-
he's
you're in
setting up his camera in those opening scenes.
right.
The camera is a Minolta, and I kept thinking,
It is
today would they
It's
do
old
that
30
today?
It's old 35 mil, right?
Would he get paid for that today, or would Minolta get paid, or would they pay that? Like all I could think about is like this is product placement before anyone gave a shit.
Yeah,
in video
yeah.
games.
I don't even know why he had to be a photographer. I couldn't understand that. I couldn't understand why he had to be a
Well,
photographer.
how else does he lure girls into his lair and make?
I
sweet
don't
love to
understand
them?
why he was converting the upstairs bathroom into a shitter / photo lab. I just couldn't.
He's a
I
serial
couldn't.
killer, dude.
He's definitely a serial killer. He is he's almost as scary as Bob Tompkins, the sleazy real estate in town, who has his posters all over the walls
Oh, that
of
guy.
girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were all girls from Leisure Suit Larry 6. I
Were
didn't
they
know that
really?
until I did some. Yeah.
I didn't
So
know
all those
that.
posters back there, I didn't know that either.
That's a great little piece
And,
of trivia. I love that.
Yeah. I thought that was fun. I was like, really? I was like, I got to go back and look. And I'm like, do I have to? Anyway.
Real quick, sorry, I forgot. Somebody in the
Go ahead.
chat sent me a private message on Discord saying, "Don't forget, Sierra published Half-Life." They did. Half-Life was
Right.
originally a Sierra published title before
Right.
Sierra went away, and then so the first version of the disc version of Counter-Strike you could buy, that was Sierra. The gold box or not gold box. What was it called? The red box or orange box. That had
Orange box.
Yeah, it had all orange box. That's it. That thing, Portal 1, we're talking all that era. I think that was like the last hurrah for those guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
You forget how short a time. You forget in game terms, that's a pretty short time. I mean, we're talking 95, 96 for these two games that are coming.
Well, the company was founded in
what?
1982, and 2002 is the official death, although revived in 2008 by Vivendi after Activision Blizzard bought or did the merger. Then they owned it. They shut it down a year later, though. But then they did it again in 2014 to re-release some Sierra games. And now I don't know what the status is now. Maybe
it's kind of shocking that out of all of the retro games we've played, Phantasmagoria is one of the few that's not abandonware. They still are active. They are still selling this thing.
People you can buy it on Steam and GOG and everything else. It's all out there.
People still have a nostalgia for it. I don't know what it is, other than I'm assuming a lot of those people were kids, and it was probably dad's game. And they were probably playing it, late at night. Can you imagine?
Yeah,
I mean, but it's watching side boob, a lady in a nightgown, that kind of stuff. That's
super titillating,
totally exciting.
But it's Ken Williams and Roberta Williams, arguably their final hurrah here. I mean, after these two games, they were not putting out big point and clicks.
No, those games, and that's because of the market, right?
Yeah.
That was because the people just weren't buying point and click games. That wasn't anything that they were doing.
No, that's true. That's true. In fact, we're just barely getting to a point where people want those again. Like it's taken a long time for that to wear off.
We're getting there.
Part of it was, we then went into an era where you could move a dude around in real time who wasn't some static photo lady, and he could walk up to things and interact with them directly. And point and click got muddy. It got like, what even is that genre at that point?
It was a very interesting idea because this is 95. We're starting to, we're just seeing our first PlayStations come in. We're getting, CD, we're getting multimedia everywhere. We're asking ourselves, why do all of this, 3D generating of artwork when you can just film people doing stuff? Problem is the gameplay mechanics that you can wrap around that is kind of limited to, storytelling. Point and click.
We also, maybe we didn't know this, but we were going to surpass that, and it would be easier to manipulate digital, realistic, photorealistic situations than it was to have real people getting filmed and shoot it from every angle and all that.
And it's still true today because if you think about it, if you go, oh, how would I have real actors do this? Well, if I want them to be truly interactive and someone to be able to really manipulate what's going on screen, you're going to have to use AI or something like that because you're talking about an analog thing where you're filming somebody. It's analog. You got to digitize it.
Well, funny enough, we're still shooting those actors. They're just covered in little ping pong balls and doing mocap.
Yeah,
and they're still capturing performance. They're still capturing voice, and but they're putting models on top of it. It turns out that workflow is way easier than having.
It's way easier, more effective. It's just really almost impossible, even though for a short period, for just a minute. In 1995, creating 3D graphics that looked as good as real people was going to be a really hard thing to do. And they tried this, and we went down a path, and that branch just died.
Yep, we went down the Don.
Wasn't compelling.
It's the Don path. Don the photographer making a shitter / photo.
God, I hate Don so much, and I hate that I hate the character Don so much that my feelings have bled over into the human David Holm, who is probably a very nice guy. But whenever I see him, I hate him because
Yeah.
it's for all the wrong reasons. And it's not because his character turns into an evil douche. It's this, he was already a douche. He just got evil. The character,
You're right.
Don,
No, I
not
understand.
David Holm.
No.
I'm sure he's a nice guy.
I'm sure he's fine. I don't know. He does look like a porn. He had a porn job at the same time, and he had to leave at 4 so he could go do his porn gig and then come back. And
Is that true, or are you just
I'm making that up. This is how that guy looks to me. You know what he looks like? He looks like that Doc Andel guy that in the Tiger King documentary thing. The weirdo that also had a bunch of tigers.
I got you. Yeah.
Ponytail, that big dumb Doctari coat thing.
Yes.
Freaking, that's a look I can do without.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you who I did love though. Douglas Seal was in here, and you may remember him or may not remember.
I know
him.
that name. Why do I know that name?
You know that name probably is the voice of the Sultan and Aladdin, but where I love him from is from Ernest Saves Christmas when he plays as Santa. So
I know.
I
this guy.
love that guy.
Oh yeah, he's the sheepish little Sultan. That's the dad. Here, chat. I'll put a picture up. And I think this is a shot of him in. Damn it! Why won't it show? I hate the AA. What is that format anyway? Anyway, I think this is a shot of him on an episode of Cheers.
Yes, he'd been in a lot of things. Douglas Seal passed away in '99. Just he was
great
for our generation. Mine and Scott's. He was just an old guy in movies.
That's a guy you always recognized. You'd be like, hey, I know that face. He's funny.
You couldn't help but to love him. I remember loving the Sultan in Aladdin and not knowing why. But then when I found out who the voice actor was, I said, okay, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. But he is old. He's old Malcolm. He's he kind of puts together some of the pieces of the puzzle for you. And the only way you can get to him is to steal a dog bone from when you're in the drain. That's what I was going to talk about earlier. When you go get the drain cleaner for your husband, you have to steal a dog bone because she didn't pay for it. She's got $5 in her pocket.
Yeah,
she didn't pay for it.
No, of course she didn't.
But it was weird because that transaction was weird anyway. Because when you buy the Drano stuff or the clog cleaner, you have $5, and it's a really long, anguished transaction with you and the shopkeeper.
Wow.
You give him the $5 that you found in the drawer. I hope Don doesn't get mad that you took it. But you give it to the guy, and he's like $4.75. And then he said he gives you a quarter back. Then you take the quarter, and then you toss it into like a little take a penny, leave a penny kind of thing, or some kind of charity bucket.
Yeah,
drops it in there, and they linger on it for a really long time. And it's like, okay,
yeah,
what's going on? Am I supposed to feel better that I stole the dog bone now that I've done that? I don't know.
You can't feel better because it was all a what's the word I'm looking for? You chased a goose. It was a goose chase.
You totally goose chase. I didn't like it. Maybe they just didn't have time to do it. I know they had to cut a lot of stuff because this project was definitely overreaching what the staff could do. They have done some full motion video stuff in the past with the SWAT series at Sierra.
Oh, I love SWAT so much. Gosh dang it, SWAT was good. And I know we haven't talked about it yet, but Police Quest is also amazing. We'll talk about that later.
Yes. Yeah. Police Quest. What did I say? Did I say Police Quest?
No, you said SWAT. But SWAT.
Oh, SWAT. Oh, yeah. Police Quest : SWAT. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Police. Sweat.
Police SWAT squid.
Hey, something I just found out. Douglas Seal. That dude worked. His first movie was in 1937. 37, Brian.
Wow.
And then he did one in 38, one in 39, one in 49. So jumped 10 years ahead in 49. Yeah. And then disappeared from acting until 82.
Yeah. I'm back, baby.
49 to 82. And then he worked consistently up to his death.
Right. He's like, I'm back, baby. Let's do this.
Weird.
He's such a, God, I just love him so much.
He's great.
Christmas.
Maybe
I'm in love with her from that.
Does he make Dawn easier to swallow, like overall?
They need to be on screen at the same time, but yeah, it's pretty rough. I'm sorry, Don. I'm sure you're a fine man.
Oh, I'm sure you're great.
You even got. I'm pretty sure he drank all that absinthe. That was in the bar. By the way, I didn't realize this, but I went back later because I kept trying to. I was like, what is the point? I keep going to the bar in the mansion, and I'm looking at this absinthe, and I'm like, Is he drinking it? Is that
Yeah.
why he's going nutty? Is he hallucinating or something?
Yeah.
But it slowly goes from full to nearly empty before it's removed from the bar altogether.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that's what was going on. I didn't put it together. But I
Well,
read some trivia about
Don
it.
slowly
It
drank it all.
Yeah, he obviously, like I said, it's a really good storytelling mechanic where it's like, oh, maybe this is all just an illusion.
Mhm.
Maybe it's really not haunted by Carno, who is going around brutally murdering his wives. By the way, did you watch the death scenes? Because they're pretty gruesome.
Oh, they are.
especially the
No, they
one
don't hold back.
with the trowel.
Yeah.
The Creature Shop, I think, did a lot of that stuff. Woo, that was
some of that is
that was
gnarly.
good.
Like that's the other thing is we didn't have. I don't think we had the rating system yet, right? What was that called? What is?
No, they were, but they did rate it mature, and it was banned in a couple of places like Australia.
But did it have
But-
the not MPAA? What's the video game equivalent?
Our rating system. I don't know if it must have, because Night Trap kicked all of that off, right? So Night Trap in
and
92,
Mortal Kombat as well. So that's
Mortal
same year.
Kombat, that would have all kicked all of that off. So probably by this point, they
Probably
probably
did.
were doing the ratings.
Yeah,
in
and if
most
you gave it a
places.
mature, that used to be kind of a death knell. You
Yeah.
were asking for trouble. Although there was the adults only AO rating, and I don't know if you remembered. It's so funny how standards change, because when GTA San Andreas, people found that content they called the hot coffee. It wasn't even a mod.
the hot coffee.
It wasn't even a mod. It was just like content that just didn't make it out of the game.
Right.
And people could access it, and they re-rated that game adults only, which
Nice.
killed sales for a while until
Yeah.
Rockstar removed that stuff and then republished. However, today, the stuff I'm doing in Cyberpunk,
Yes.
what changed? Because that stuff is way more adult than that hot coffee thing. Way more.
Yes.
Like,
And Lorelei Shannon, who was we did not have Roberta Williams come back for the second one. We
No.
had Lorelei Shannon. She stepped up to the plate and she directed this thing, or not really directed, designed, I guess, because they had a Hollywood director come in for part 2 as well.
oh wait, before we go to part
and-
2, listen to this acting.
That
Yeah.
it was an accident. It was no accident. But, dear diary, Zoltan wasn't always like this. I remember.
Zoltan. Anyway, sorry. Before we go to 2, I just wanted to get.
We don't
that out
have
of
to
there.
move on. We don't have to move on at all. If you got more clips, I'd love
That's
to hear
all
them.
I got of those.
I would-
That's it.
I was going to say Lorelei Shannon, who did the second one,
Yeah.
had actually talked about the hot coffee thing because they got some shit for, the violence and stuff. And she's like, well, I think it's way worse with the GTA and teaching kids how to do all these violent things. And, she was more, I'm not quoting her directly there. So you have to go find the interview. I'll put some show notes somewhere, but it was getting that vibe like,
Yeah.
whatever. She's like, what about that?
Yeah.
What about that?
Well, it's that old argument of a boob will get you banned, but a beheading
boob
won't
ban.
get you banned. So you can show somebody getting killed violently and everyone's okay with it, but booby ban.
Oh, booby
every
man,
time.
you're out of here, buddy. What, are you going to show some boobs?
Yeah, it's Puritan weirdness.
Doubtful.
So let's talk about 2 for a second. Here's some audio from that, and I want you to try, Brian. I'd like you to try not to just fold over into a ball and die when you hear this, okay? But it's hard not to, and I would understand if you curled up and said, "That's it, show over." I would understand.
Yeah.
But here's some actual audio from that game, Phantasmagoria: a puzzle of flesh. Here you go.
This is an obscene phone call.
Then shouldn't you be saying something obscene?
I want to chew through your bra straps like a rabid poodle. I want to smear your naked body with strawberry jelly. I want to pluck blueberries out of your quivering navel with my teeth.
Sorry, I don't talk to obscene phone callers. At least not silly ones.
I want
There
to
is
die.
way-
I want to die hearing that.
There's way too much naval discussion in this particular one. He also later on gets like a navel piercing or something weird.
Yeah.
Somebody has an obsession with navels. That's all I'm
it's
saying.
like
A little navel piercing.
Tarantino foot fetish, but for navels or something. I don't know what's
right.
going on.
That's more uncomfortable sittings.
The one thing
right?
I will say about the sequel that I like is that the environments are real environments for the most part.
Yes.
They got rid of like the weird static 3D Studio Max stuff everywhere. And instead we're like, well, no, we just need zones of this scene to be clickable, interactable. Then you click on the door handle of something or a drawer and he'll make the move over there to go open the drawer, open the door, do whatever he's got to do. But he's not doing it in this ultra fake space with an ultra realistic person.
Yeah.
And I think that's to the game's benefit. I think the story, though, is too like lascivious for its own good. It's just too like smarmy and like, hey, baby. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't explain it.
This story goes, so if you thought the first one had like a weird twist, and Roberta Williams wrote all of that, maybe with some help, I'm assuming. I've watched some interviews. I can't remember exactly what she said. But anyway, this story is, wow. This story is way weirder.
Yeah.
It starts off with our Daniel Jackson lookalike in here.
He does look like the guy. He's the SG1 TV's Daniel Jackson. He is the
FMV of the Daniel Jackson from TV SG1, Curtis Craig, who, by the way, super active on YouTube. You got to see all
Curtis
the stuff
Craig,
he has.
really.
Yeah, he's done all. And it's not this the actor. His name's not really Curtis Craig. It is Paul Morgan
That's what I meant.
Stetler, I believe. But he's got a YouTube channel. And he interviews all these people from the first one and the second one. He goes back and he's revisiting all this stuff. And they've even got video footage, videotapes, and they're remastered. People are remastering. He's not directly involved. There's a whole bunch of projects going on that are, he could be directly involved, that are going and trying to remaster this second one because there's so much more content here that can be saved because of how the process went down. And so I'm kind of interested in seeing what they got. Even though it doesn't look that bad, even in this form in the game, it kind of looks like an episode of X-Files.
Yeah, kind of.
It's very 95,
but
96, right?
a cheap version of it. Like it looks.
Yeah,
it's got that stink of like, oh, these people are in a cheap porno. Like it just is. I can't explain it.
Seems more like, the first one definitely felt like they had hired some porn actors. Ironically, there was porn actors in the second one. And I felt like this one was more like sci-fi channel kind of stuff. It really felt like that, but some lower level sci-fi channel
This
stuff.
was his first gig, by the way. That dude, Phantasmagoria 2, then went on to be on Melrose Place for an episode, Pleasantville,
yes,
Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Drew Carey Show, The Fugitive TV series, Life or Something Like It, and Crimes of the Past. And that's kind of it.
But that's fine. That's a pretty good run for somebody who's in a video game from '96. I gotta say, that's not a bad run.
It's a competitive space. You don't just get huge gigs for your one-off.
He's doing better than either one of us as far as our acting gigs go, right? He's doing much better.
So apparently, let's see. There is a couple years ago. Oh, he did some Reddit stuff.
Yeah, he's online. He does stuff.
Yeah.
He stays active.
He's doing things. Yeah. I'm trying to find his YouTube channel.
He's probably scarred from this game because it starts out with the intro movie where the character Curtis Craig is being wheeled down an insane asylum. It's a hospital. You can tell it's a hospital, and he's being wheeled down. And then they do like they're giving him some drugs and they're getting him electroshock therapy. And then it like fades out and he goes 1 year later and he's waking up. And this is where you start. This is where you're involved with the game. You get up, you walk around, you try to walk out the door of the front of the apartment because you think that's the next logical step. It says, oh, I forgot my wallet.
Sure.
So you had to go back in, look around. You click on the couch, you look under the couch, like, oh, there's my wallet. Oh, look, it's a bunch of junk and stuff. Let me go check with my pet rat.
Yeah.
This is how you solve the first puzzle. Made me so mad.
Yeah.
You probably watched the video, but playing it, this really made me mad. It's basically the first puzzle you play.
It's the first puzzle.
The first puzzle, you have to retrieve your wallet, which is under the couch. So he leans over.
Yeah.
Face on the floor.
Yeah.
And he's looking in. He's looking in at the wallet.
Yeah.
And he reaches his hand in.
Yeah.
He can't quite reach it.
Yeah.
And instead of like lifting the couch up, or something like that, what you would think, because I'm like clicking on the couch.
He's very illogical about what he does after that.
And I'm like, do I need to get like a broom and like sweep it out? I mean, what do I need to do?
Mm-hmm.
The answer is much worse.
Much
than you
worse.
Could ever imagine.
Oh yeah.
You have to go get your rat, who's you probably already talked to. She's like, oh, rat. You clicked on it and talked to him, and you're like, okay. So you have to get your rat. Then you have to go to your bedroom, which you couldn't open before, with your drawer next to your bed. Get a granola bar. Come back to the couch. Put the rat. Let him go underneath the couch. He'll start eating the treats underneath there. Then you take the granola bar and you bring him back out.
Yeah.
And when he comes back out, he brings the wallet with him. And I'm like, there's no world or universe where I would have thought to do that. Luckily, I was streaming it at the time, and somebody says, "You're going to be mad."
Someone
and I'm
said
like,
that in the chat. Yeah.
Well, I said, what the hell am I supposed to do here? Because I walked around for a good 15 minutes or so. I was like, okay, I give up. Hands up. I don't know. And someone in the chat room, I can't remember who it was. They said, you're going to be mad. And I'm like, okay, tell me. And that's what they told me to do. And I had to do that. And I was like, that is the worst.
That's funny.
First puzzle ever. I hate it so much.
It's not great. Yeah, that sets the standard, or the not the standard. It sets the tone for being annoyed. You know.
Yeah, it's like it's. I guess it's good because you're like, okay, every puzzle's gonna be outrageously convoluted. No straightforward answers here. It's gonna be crazy shit.
So check this out. On that guy's, I'm a little obsessed with what he's doing now. So this Paul, whatever his name is, Paul Curtis, whatever.
Yeah, Curtis Craig.
Curtis Craig.
The CC.
He does a bunch of Let's Play videos, right? And he plays things like the Stanley Parable, and it's just him. This was just 2 days ago. He was playing it now.
Yeah.
He played Phantasmagoria 1 to completion.
Nice.
With that girl from the first game, the actress. Her name's Tori. She's in there. Yep. Like, this guy's got his videos don't have very good view counts, but it's pretty great. No. You know, it's kind of cool.
I love what he's doing. He's talked to everybody from that era. So I have mad respect for the man. Paul Morgan Stetler, but I think he goes by Curtis. I think if you look up Curtis is back or something, like on YouTube or something, because he mostly plays his character on YouTube.
Curtis is back again.
Curtis is back, but this one's more of the same from the first one, except you're exploring parental issues through finding Polaroids and having flashback memories and dealing with everyday bullshit at his day job. He has to go into a day job. So when you leave your apartment after dealing with all that rat shit, you have to go to work, and you work at a pharmaceutical of some sort. I'm a big pharma. You would expect from 1996, right?
Sure.
And you got to solve some puzzles there. You got a little office romance going on. You got one girl who's into you, but she wants a commitment. You're not into that. Anyway, you end up bringing back another office worker who's into what's the BDSM? What is it? Is that how you say it? The ones where you bind, torture, torture, but the binding, whatever it is. Yeah.
Tickle,
bind, tickle,
solve,
rub forehead. I don't know.
Movement.
But anyway.
Yeah, whatever it is. I have no idea.
But so you have a little bit of that kind of stuff going on. Turns out, do you want to know all the spoilers? Do you want all the spoilers, Scott?
Well, I didn't finish the second one, so anything you tell me past a certain point will be spoilers anyway. And I don't have a problem with it because the game is ancient as shit. So please.
Right. So I'm gonna get some story spoilers because it is so ridiculous. I don't think knowing it beforehand affects the exploration that's in the game, because really what the value of this game is these weird characters, way more characters this time around, including a gay friend named Trevor.
Mm-hmm.
And you start making these friendships in the office. So you start getting attached to these characters and they start dying. Unlike the first one, where most of the murders are people that you never really met. You're kind of getting some retellings. Here, you're actually meeting people and you're friends with, and you're kind of doing stuff with. You go out and drink, and you have a friendly competition with Bob. It's not that friendly. Turns out your dad worked at this place too. Back when you were a little kid.
Oh boy.
He brought you to work.
Oh.
Because in the basement of this business facility is a portal to an alien world.
Probably to hell. Alien world. Okay.
That's to an alien world. So you are experimented on, and they send you as a young child, young Curtis child, and they send back an alien copy of you. So actually,
you're a clone, dude. What?
You're a puzzle of flesh.
You're the puzzle of flesh.
You're trying to put it all together.
That's so stupid.
Because it is the dumbest shit ever. But I love it.
Yeah.
I actually like the story better in this one.
In the second
I
one?
think this one, yeah.
Yeah, one of the things, some of the reception, for example, the first game, most people liked it, said that the B movie plot was not the best part of the acting, but they liked the technical accomplishment that was the FMV and the integration and all that. That game sold 1 million copies, the first game. German magazine, gaming magazine Powerplay, though, called it the biggest disappointment of 95. Good Lord. But the second game got way less good reviews, but people liked the engaging storyline more. So narrative, I guess, wins in this case. I don't know. Maybe?
Yeah, and really in an FMV, that's what you want, right? That's what you want, that character engagement.
Yeah.
So I think the first one of this series, which only 2, was supposed to be an anthology. At least that's what they envisioned.
They were going to do more?
These stories,
I didn't know that.
yeah, because these stories weren't really connected.
Mhm.
Other than there's one scene where Curtis is reading some information and he's talking about our lead actress from the first one, Adrian Delaney, the character. Other than that, there's no connection at all. And so that was kind of the idea. It was kind of like, one of those ongoing anthologies that just didn't make it because this one killed it.
Well, funny enough, that previous to this game, same year as the prior game, The Beast Within, Gabriel Knight Mystery was a big hit. That's also Sierra. Police Quest, SWAT, came out in 95. I played Police Quest, and it's great.
Yeah.
The
And
original,
most of
the
FMVs
OG
in
one,
there
and the FMV one. So there was one before this,
Yeah.
right? That was more traditional point and click. The FMV one was also point and click, but used FMV. They're both great. I will never say a bad thing unless I play them now and realize how bad they are. But at the time, I thought Police Quest was badass. I loved it.
It is both bad. That's the thing about all of these games we've talked about today. Were cutting edge, but they were all heading down paths that were going to basically be dead ends.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, it was an amazing moment in time.
Yeah,
And
for
we got
sure.
to see it.
Yeah, I appreciate what it was. The Mad Dog McCree's, the sewer. What was it? Not sewer rat. Sewer King. What was the name of that game?
Sewer. Yeah, well, I know what you're talking about.
Sewer Knight. What was it?
Sewer Knight. That's it. Sewer Knight. You nailed
Sewer
it.
Shark.
That's
Sewer
it.
Shark.
Sewer Shark.
Yeah, Sewer Shark. To some degree, I don't know. All these things, they're so weird.
Yeah.
And it's such a very specific chunk of time. I don't know if the industry, like, it may be one of those things where we didn't really need it. Like, we were about to jump over to better ways of doing it all. And it was such a brief time in the overall picture of the industry. But I am really glad that in this universe, we had this brief moment of this terrible shit. Like,
yeah,
it's great. It's fun. It's dumb. It's innovative. It's creative. It's like even the Command and Conquer cutscene stuff. I kind of count that among this.
Yes.
Where such stupid things are being said, like the word. Let's see, where's this one from Tim Curry right here?
Space.
Everyone loves that one. But that whole era is just, there's something about it. I will never say I wish it had never happened, but I don't think it needed to happen.
It did not need to happen, or maybe it did. Let's put it this way: if there are elements of what was created here that influenced things that were later on, is almost so unrecognizable that it would be hard to pick out what exactly it was. Almost kind of like the Apple Newton to the iPhone. There's no way you can barely even see anything.
There's hardly any connective tissue, but it was always like a dream to say, one day I will hold a computing device in my hand that is beyond anything we can imagine today. And then you got to make these weird ass mistakes. And in these games, it's like we want to make it immersive. It's like a movie in there, literally like a movie, you guys. And so for a hot second, you're like, oh yeah, the future is here. But then you realize, no, not really. I mean, we're going to get so much better.
This ever again.
We're going to get so much better with virtual worlds. And I don't mean VR, but like, worlds that are virtual and you moving about in those spaces and all that is about to get so much more cinematic and so much less jank and cheese. It just took time. It always reminds me of Microsoft in 2001, I think it was, released a line of Windows tablets. And they were thick. They had this horrible fan that was always going in that thing. Just a terrible Windows XP device that were not ready for prime time. But they were like, you know what? Tablets, that's a cool idea. Took a long time for that to actually work out. And once again, Apple, they tend to be the one who figures out the mainstream for it. But my point is, like, the first attempts are always interesting, but never stick. Mm-hmm. And this is one of those. This wasn't going to stick. This wasn't going to last.
Oh, it won't be too much longer before Alive. Remember that service that was going to change everything? Dude. And it kind of did, but not for Live.
Yeah. What happened there?
Cloud gaming, baby. It turned into what I recognized almost immediately because I had two ISDN lines and I was watching stuff on Live and I watched on my T1 line if I was at work.
Remember
and I
days.
realized that the real value was me watching other people play. The real value was not the cloud gaming.
Yeah.
The afterthought that they had on Live was, people can watch too. Whatever, people can watch.
Yeah, and they were right. They were right about that, but the wrong emphasis. Emphasis.
Yeah, with the wrong emphasis. Emphasis, right.
Yeah, and it took Twitch and others to say, hey, what about this? And then that all changed. Yeah, it's such a weird...
changed.
It's a weird industry, man. I love following it. That's half the reason we do this show. It's just fun to see, what happened in between our retro, whatever the game is, and now.
I watched season 2 of Loki, so I'm trying really hard not to draw parallels to pruning the timeline. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I still haven't seen any of season 2 yet. It's not over though, right? It's still going.
No. Well, season 2 just came out last Friday. Maybe new episodes.
It's just starting, though, right? Just started.
Yeah. So there's only been one episode, and that's no spoiler. If you've watched it, they talk about the timeline stuff from the very beginning of the first Loki, and they've already mentioned it in several other Marvel properties.
Yeah, this isn't anything.
I'm not spoiling anything.
No, that whole multiverse. Welcome to the current Marvel run. It's multiverse all day. Yeah. That's just the plan. Which I'm getting a little. I'm getting a little tired of it. I do like the Loki stuff.
Yeah,
but I'm a little tired overall of multiverse stuff. I'm just like, okay, we get it. You guys are.
It's gonna be a rough ride. It's necessary because of what they got to do.
I guess.
But I'm with you. On Live was the name. I think I called it Live.
Yeah, On Live. That's correct.
Yeah, On Live.
I subbed to it for a little bit. Tried it out.
Yeah, I did too. It was
ahead of its time.
Yeah,
no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, there you go. Go check out those games. Like we said, available in some forums and stuff on old sites and stuff. But it sounds like the best experience was DOSBox to me.
Yeah. So I got my copy on Steam.
Yeah.
The first one. And I returned it because the DOSBox configuration that they have by default is trash.
Yeah, it's not.
And I'm like, I've already got the ISOs. If I gotta set up DOSBox, I ain't giving you $10 for me to set up DOSBox. I'm like, you can have it back. So I did just that. Also, I got to learn some stuff on the second one. I have found some people were doing the remastering stuff, and some of the things that they did were swapping out what's called Duke files, DUKs. And it's a proprietary video file format, and you can play your own Duke video files in Phantasmagoria 2. You can play your own Duke files. It's like, oh man, if that's the case, wow, you could probably redo all the clips. You could do anything you wanted to do.
You could porn that thing up with all those clips.
You could porn that up. I mean, I don't know how the click interfaces and where they are located on each screen and stuff, but if you match that up,
you'd have to probably match the timing too, right? Exact length.
Match the timing, exactly, to match timing and location on the screen of the thing that you'd want to click. But other than that, I mean, that'd be a fun little side project.
Do it, Brian.
Let's do it.
I'm with you. I back you up on this plan. I'm not doing it. That takes a ton of time. I ain't doing that. All right, we're gonna take a moment here and do a Guess My Game. Check this out.
Destroy it.
Yeah, that's right. Guess Our Game. It's a little bit of audio from an old game. We try to stump each other, and we can allow 3 questions for each thing. We can give as many hints as we want, but we always start with year and platform. And I'll begin with 1991 and the Sega Genesis / Mega Drive. It ended up on both sides of the pond, and that's all I'm going to tell you, Brian. Oh, and I'll say that it's spooky. I'll say that.
Okay, yeah. I did something spooky this week too, so
good.
We'll spoop it together.
We're on theme here.
Yes.
On Play Retro. So here you go, and see if we can figure this out. Listen to that Genesis shit.
I love that.
It's so sharp. It's a sharpness to their music.
Sharpness.
Oh, this is an important part coming up. Hold on. Right here.
I've played this a million times.
You know what this is, eh? Yeah, you got any questions to start with?
Yes, because I've played this a million times, but I cannot pull it out of my ass.
Listen to that.
Is it based on a horror franchise?
Not that I know of. I can tell you that there is an NES version of the game that came out a year or two before as well.
Okay.
But I will not. I don't. But other than that, not tied to
Interesting.
any other series.
Interesting. So it's a standalone horror game.
Yep. Not really.
NES.
Well, I'll give you a
Well, I
help
mean,
there. It's a horror game, but not explicitly one. It's more like stuff in the game happens that is kind of horrifying. How about that?
Okay. Interesting.
And it's considered one of the scarier 16-bit era games. I'll put it that way, which is why I chose it. And I also played it back in the day.
All right. Is this a? Let's see if that's the case.
And this is the part.
Does it involve
this part right here?
Does it involve vampires?
Oh, does it feature vampires?
I mean, is the primary bad guy? Is it a mix of horror themed characters, or is it specific to like vampires? Specifically,
I'm
looking
gonna
for a
say
vampire.
it is not specific to vampires.
Okay.
There might be a vampire in it. I don't remember. But
Okay,
there are other. Let's say so to help answer that, I'll say there are a lot of creatures that you have to fight.
That rules out what I was thinking. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing. Trying
So
to.
that's
eliminate
question
some
number 2. You got one left.
stuff. All right.
Let's see how the chat's doing. I'm gonna check in there.
Is this
someone got it in the chat. I'm blown away.
Oh,
Anyway,
good job.
Keep going.
16? See, if you had said 8-bit, I would have said it's almost got an altered B sound to it, but I don't think that's it. How about is it? Let's see. Is it multiplayer? Is it more than is it couch co-op kind of multiplayer
No,
kind of thing?
single player game.
Single player game.
Yeah,
All right.
That was your final question.
Then I'm gonna go with Fester's party. Fester's birthday party. The Addams Family.
Let's see if it is. Nope, it's not. It is The Immortal. The Immortal.
The Immortal. Okay.
And
That's why it sounds
Ron
familiar.
Wood /Skits319 in the chat totally got it. I'm very
Skits
impressed that he got
always
it.
knows.
Yeah,
Skits
he's smart.
is the Skits hits.
Well done, Ron Wood Jr. No, it's Skits319.
Ron Wood.
Ron Wood. Well done, Brian.
I played that not that long ago. Did I get a copy of that? I'm trying to remember.
You have The Immortal? It's supposed to be
very familiar.
It's supposed to be still
What's that?
pretty good, like a fun game to play.
Yeah. It's very familiar. I'm not sure. Maybe I played it on one of the retro. I don't remember, but I've definitely played that one recently.
All right. Well, if you find it, give it a shot. It looked cool. It would look like you're a wizard, and you take.
You're a
down.
wizard, Harry.
I got to kill an ogre in a very disgusting way in that game. My
Oh,
brief time of
interesting.
playing it. Anyway, that's you. Now let's go to yours. Give me the year and the place or the platform.
Okay, so this is 1986. It's on the Commodore 64, but I will say that I put both the video clue and an audio clue. So I got the audio like you normally have, but I also included a video file because I don't think even after you listen to the music, because it's mostly just music for the game, and I don't think there's very few special effects like punches or anything. I go, poof, poof, nothing like that. So it's just almost entirely music, and some of it's very generic. So I included the video, but even with the video, I don't know if you'll get it or not.
Okay. C64, 86 is the year. So here's what I'll do. I'll play this video, or I'll play this audio Brian sent me, and I'll play the video.
Now the
in
video
chat.
has both the audio and the video, but
this
then also just the audio.
Well, let me try audio first before
If you can pipe it through, yeah. I wasn't sure how
We'll
I
see
did
what
to
we
you
can
both
do
ways.
here. Definitely C64. I mean, that's familiar because everyone uses it.
Yeah.
Well, sort of. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to look at video because it's here. So chat here. Take a look at this. Together we will learn.
And we'll describe it for those listening. We'll describe the video.
So there's a dude running around between rooms. He's in a church. He grabbed a pitchfork.
It's kind of it's almost isometric front view, almost, sort of, kind of.
Kind of, yeah. It's weird.
It's got very simplified, blocky characters. Most of the atmosphere is black and white, but it's got some stuff. Looks like kind of running around in a church right now.
Mm-hmm.
Some altars there.
He's out in the field, looking at the farm field area. On my end, he's still got this pitchfork. I know he has an axe now.
Yeah, well, it walks around kind of like the E.T. game. Remember how that was? That top-down, front-facing thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Is that a hoe on the ground?
Hey, don't talk about the... Oh, you talk about that. Yeah, that's an axe, I believe.
So I have no idea what this is.
Yeah, so start asking for some hints. I don't know if they'll help you any.
Damn. Chat room says they know, but can't remember. So I guess I'll ask you questions. Is this based on a popular movie or IP of some sort?
Yes.
Is it zombie related?
No.
Okay, that screws that idea. Is it what year?
The year is 1986 for the Commodore 64, and I will also tell you it was on the Amstrad CPC and the ZX Spectrum for the My People over the pond.
Is it based on? You were just in a castle, so I'm just going to assume some kind of Dracula shit.
Nope, no Dracula shit here.
I am stumped. I have no idea what this is. I'll just.
What if I told you it was released on a floppy diskette and cassette tape? Does that help any?
Not at all.
No.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and say. I mean, the fact that you got a weapon, it's a hatchet. I'm looking at the screen. So, chat, here's what I'm looking at. So are you. Let me pull that up so it's higher. Okay. So we got a bunch of people below the weapon choice, all kind of standing there.
Mm-hmm.
Those are either people you got to save or kill. Your character, I guess, is your character with the blonde hair. Doesn't make sense though, because the character in the game's got red hair. But you got like weights next to you, like weightlifting.
Is it the weight? The weights really messed with me too. I'm like, what is the weights? What is that?
What is that? It's score based. Night of the Living Dead. I don't know.
You got it. Night of the Living Dead. No, wait, man. It's not Night of the Living Dead.
Shut up, about died there.
But I'll give you one hint. It happens this Friday in October.
Oh, it's Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th. The very first Friday the 13th game. Even before the one that people actually like. This on the NES. This one came out. It was a Donmark developed and published game.
So
I'd never heard of it.
Based on the first movie, then there's just the mom, there's no Jason, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. So I'm assuming that's what's going on. Like those are supposed to be, it's supposed to be the mom and that's the teenagers. I'm assuming. But I was originally going to do the NES version of the Friday the 13th because everybody loves that one. But I was like, oh, it's just too easy. But I said it's perfect for this week being Friday the 13th this Friday.
It would have been
then
easy.
I saw this and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, this is
I'll
ancient.
never guess this one.
My gosh, that thing.
I would guess
really
this.
old.
Even after I watched the video, I was like, I still don't know what this is. It was a time.
I'm not convinced I'll ever know what I was looking at there. That was weird.
No.
Perfect though. Perfect for what we've done here.
I do see a couple people that either just straight out guessed or got lucky. Michael Barrier did, as well as looks like Sean and also Ron Wood, of course. Skits
got it
right back in there. Finally was able to guess Friday
nice
the 13th.
job, guys. Well done. You're all smarter than I took you for.
Welcome to the treasure room.
All right. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, for a little bit of email interaction. We got one here from Adam, and he sent it to playretroshow@gmail.com. And here's what Adam says. Gentlemen, I love the show. I'm gorging on your content right now.
Yes. He's
like,
gorging on the content like Dawn gorges on her face.
Yeah, gorges on his girlfriend's head. It's really disconcerting in that game. Anyway, he says, would love to put a recommendation out there. Not sure if it's already something you'll cover, but no doubt it's retro and no doubt it's something you play. He says, so I would love an episode or portion of one that discusses the games we were able to make on our TI-83s calculators. Oh. Remember the whole calculator thing in that particular one?
Yeah.
People programmed all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Says, I spent a lot of time with that and a racing game. Thanks for the great content. Cheers, Adam. Sure. I know very little about that world, so I'd be into learning more.
I played a good bit of those back in the day. That's one of the things you do. You sit around. That's interesting.
Most of my calculator time was spent making the word boobs, you know?
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, you could make that on any calculator, right? But yeah, the TI-83 was definitely an interesting system. Man,
I remember a kid in school had one, and
I think the manual, which is a pretty thick book that would come with it. It seems like they had programmable games just for the book. Maybe we could like at least talk about some of the.
And I think you'd get, I don't know, magazines or whatever, and they would have reproducible code in the back, and you could go type all that in and try to make it work or whatever.
Yeah, that's what you do with that little code stuff, man.
Yeah,
typing it in. Cool.
I'd be curious. I'd be curious to dig in more. Well, we'll take a look at it and see if it's like whole show worthy, but maybe it's even just a chunk of show. I don't know. Yeah, like Adam says. So. We'll check it out. Thank you for the suggestion. PlayRetroShow@gmail.com is the one to use to call us and let us know you're living, that you're alive. All right, please do that.
Please be alive.
You can also send us. You can send us texts and voicemails as well at 801-471-0462. Next week we're going to talk about arcade light gun horror games. Probably.
Yeah, probably. We'll let you know if it ends up not being that, like House of the Dead, Chiller, Carnival, those kind of things. Pew, pew, pew.
Carnival, dude.
Carnival.
What the frick? Well, there's another one. Splatter. What was it called? Splatter.
Crypt Killer?
Maybe.
Beastbusters. How about Golly Ghost?
No.
Silent Scope? Vampire Night?
Oh, maybe that's it. Vampire Night. Silent Scope was not it. That was like a sniper Konami game. That wasn't it. Anyway, we're going to talk about all of that and kind of get our heads around it next week. Unless we change our mind, then we'll let you know. Okay? Look, we need you guys to join us on Patreon because that's how this show happens. It exists because you guys help us out at patreon.com/playretro. Like Ned Jeffy, Mark Boige. He goes by Biggie.
Biggie.
I don't know how you say that last name. And Roland Fitzgerald. Yes. You can be like one of these three fine human beings by joining us today. Get no commercials ever, pre-show content every week, and other cool benefits that you can read all about at patreon.com/playretro. All right? Go there. Make it happen. Make it a part of your life. I think that's going to do it for us, Brian. Anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
Can I not skip this scene?
Nope, you can't. You have to suffer through it and send me a dirty phone call, like you do. So for us, for Dawn, and for all the weirdos in these games, we hope you have a fantastic week. We'll be back next time. Between now and then, go play something retro. We'll see you then.
Get more at frogpants.com.
Oh, geez.